Okay, happy Monday. It is week 5. We have a great call packed full of some info, some applicable action steps for you to continue moving your business to the next level. So tonight we are going to dig into systems, how to make your business really run like a business, less of a hobby, more of a business. And please know we've all had to find our own way, our own methods, and figure out what works and what doesn't work for us. So it's not really a one size fits all. This training will be like a buffet. Take from it what serves you and leave what doesn't. I think the worst thing that we can do as coaches, especially new or coaches who are trying to ramp up to the next level, is feel like we have to do what he or she did in order to be successful. Success does leave clues, as Tony Robbins has taught us, but it is also such a moldable business and transformable business. So without further ado, let us get to the right spot. I tried to do this slick and it's not slick, is it? Didn't think so. Okay, there we go. Okay. We're here and we're going. So the top 10 key activities to build your business, like I said, the more you lead and run your business like a business, I've found the more your coaches will follow suit. They're going to do the most of their effort will be the least of your effort, if that makes sense. So things that you do, they're learning and watching from you, and they'll slowly start to gain their own momentum. So as a diamond coach and working toward a diamond coach, you really want to start training yourself to do these things. And I'm speaking from mad experience, knowing that I've been super wishy-washy, I've been super inconsistent in years past, and this is so true. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So in those slumpy seasons, it's like, oh, this business isn't working, this sucks, nobody's signing. It's like, yeah, of course, nobody wants to sign up with Eeyore, right? But if you get on board and figure out what you need to take action on, and you flip your mindset around into a can-do, things start working. Yes? So I think number 1 and number 2 really should be tied, because I've also been in periods of time where I'm not doing my workouts. I have a sober journey. I have lots of other stuff wrapped into my story. And let me be honest with you, when I was leading a double life and coming home and drinking copious amounts of wine, and yeah, I would work out and it'd be rah, 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 but I would take a side-by-side and there would literally be no difference. Like, that does not sell any sort of lifestyle change. That does not get anybody jazzed up about joining you. It's the facts. So you're leading by example. And we know that when we're rocking our workout program and when we're on our A game with our nutrition, even if we hit some bumps in the road and we choose the treats, not cheats, and we live in 80-20, but when we're doing things consistently, leading by example and showing this works, people notice, and we're more likely to talk about it. We're more excited about sharing because we're fired up about our own results. We want to help people feel this great too. And also we can speak from a spot of it's progress, not perfection, and that we're not always going to have A days. I say A days, I have my challengers grade themselves. So that's what I mean by that. You know, you can share that this really is a journey. It's a marathon and not a sprint. But once you start getting your own results, that's going to give you some street cred in coaching. Oh, damn, she must know what she's talking about. Look at it. Your body really does become your billboard. And that might put a little bit of pressure on you. Take a breath. It's also mindset. It's also the personal development we're doing, right? You're being a product of the product on the whole. But you gotta have some side-by-sides. Let's just be honest. Okay, working from a list. This is the meat and potatoes of recruiting, of getting your Success Club points, and just moving the needle forward. So I've also been one of those people that have tried to just work from my inbox, and let's just be honest. I suck at answering all of those messages in a timely manner, and people do slip through the cracks. You talk and form, and then they're not ready, and then you forget in 3 months that they said, oh, after Christmas I might be ready, and you neglect to check back with them, and bam, what happens? At the end, I'll show you my daily sheets, and that's another thing about not one size fits all. There are so many different options for your daily sheets. If you want to use like Streak, Google Streak, if you want to keep an Excel spreadsheet, however it goes for you, but just so you have your own system of following up with people. Don't count anyone out. It's not up for you to decide. Your job is only to ask and offer this opportunity. If you really start to think of it as a moral obligation, we know that obesity is on the rise. We know that our soil quality sucks. We know that our major cities are heavily polluted and people aren't breathing the good air that they need. And so they need antioxidants in their diet to combat those pollutants that they're taking in, whether it's ingesting them or breathing them in. We know all these things about our environment, right? And so knowing this, and then knowing we have a solution, which is Shakeology, and then also knowing that depression and anxiety can very much be combated, or oral antidepressants can be supplemented with exercise and diet. Hello, RN talking. We know all of this stuff, and so why wouldn't we ask people? Why wouldn't we offer this opportunity? It's up to them to decide if it's the right time. And remember, no just means not right now. So come back to those that say not now, in a month, and just pop in. Another thing that I found over the long term is that the more that I chat with people and the more that I just really establish that rapport, whether I can help them with a challenge pack now, in 6 months, or never, the fact that they know I'm the person who's going to care about how they're doing builds my street cred as a coach, right? As a person. So then they can give me referrals in the future. And also just on a human level, knowing that you're that person that actually cares enough to check in on people and say, hey, how's your day going? One of my very favorite questions, write this down. One of my very favorite questions to ask when I am messaging people is, how can I be encouraging / supportive this week? I also like to ask, how can I be a good friend this week? Some people misinterpret that and they're like, well, you're always a good friend. It's like, no, that's not really what I meant. But if you ask something like that, you can dig into maybe where people are struggling. They're, going through a bad breakup, or, they just had an injury, or they just had a baby, whatever it is, death in the family. If you're that ray of sunshine in their inbox, they're going to remember that. Make those notes. I mark up my sheet all the time. I have, there's another worksheet. I mean, you can get inundated with worksheets, but somehow make notes as to who's doing what. So if you know that person just had a baby, obviously they need probably 6 to 8 weeks to recover. They're not going to be ready right now, but make those notes so you know. And then also maybe the baby's name, because it's super awkward when you're like, oh, you got to stalk through that page for like 5 minutes, and I don't know your baby's name. I've had that conversation before, and that's fine too. I'm quirky like that. So we're always expanding our network. We want to keep our funnel full. And I know these are really salesy terms, but it just is. So you always have to be adding people somehow to your network. Your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever it is. Pinterest I think is really a hidden gem. But again, it's whatever works for you. Whatever is your jam, it's your favorite platform, rock it. And add the real goal is 2 to 3 people a day. That might sound like a little, it might sound like a lot. I'll talk later about batching work, but as long as you keep adding new people, you keep having new conversations to have, and you can keep moving through that process, getting to know people, inviting people, and then doing the follow-up. Rinse, repeat, right? Be friendly. I love the people you may know on Facebook. And I went to a pretty big high school, and so it's really easy to be like, oh, did you graduate MHS too? Or I have a really huge extended family, like, how do you know so-and-so? I kind of feel them out a little bit, and I will look on profiles. Honestly, the more time that passes that I'm a coach, the more selective I am about adding people, because truth be told, I don't want the want person who works at, Pizza Hut and hates her life. Not that there's anything wrong. With that. Can you mute yourself? There we go. I got it. Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just let's be honest. Is that person going to be a self-starter? Is that person going to be hungry to change? Maybe, maybe not. I kind of go with my gut with that. And that might sound super judgy and shitty, and I want to backpedal just a little bit. I want to make sure that they're my people, right? It's okay to discern, and we're always sorting, like Christina has taught us. So I go through and then just strike it up and be friendly, hey, I see we have a ton of mutual friends. You must be cool too. Did you go to MHS? Whatever. So you always have to be sharing the opportunity. It's not like fly tape or, a bug lamp where all the flies just flock to it. We have to actually be inviting. And honestly, the algorithm always changes on social media. It seems like once you get a grip on it, then it changes again. So you might have this awesome badass post about how great, the Success Club cruise just was and blah, 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 blah. And don't you want to be a part of this community too? And you get crickets and then you start, doing self-doubt and oh, that was dumb. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, whatever. And maybe it's just the algorithm. Nobody saw it. So you really have to be in people's inboxes, on their text messages, in their phones. You have to be making human connections and try to invite 3 people each week. I like 5 because then if 2 flake out, then you still have 3. And 3 people signing up with the challenge pack equals Success Club 6, let's be honest. So shoot for 3 to 5 people each week to grow your team. And you want a good blend, like we've said many times before, of those people who are just discount coaches, people who maybe have kind of smaller goals, and then people who just want to run with it. Because your top 20% of your team are going to bring you 80% of your income. So you want those builders and those runners. Christina Sullins and like Megan White and Jolene and Steph, they mention sometimes about digging in your backyard for the gold bricks. You need your gold bricks, and those are like your builders, your runner coaches. Personal development, I can go on and on and on about this. This is my jam. This has been truly the biggest thing that's changed my life in coaching and the most unexpected part. It's really taken me from a bitchy, judgmental, low confidence, low self-esteem person into just a person who's like, I just let my freak flag fly and I don't care. And I've been able to walk through sobriety, and I just don't think that I could have done that without all of the PD I've done over the years, and like just knowing that the tools are at my fingertips, So 10 to 20 minutes each day, that's really easy to do if you just commit to maybe reading 10 pages. And I know we're like, oh, we don't have time, Bree, we're so busy. Busy is so relative, and we're all busy. But really, if you're too busy to do 10 to 20 pages, pull up that screen report on your phone. Like I've had a big reality check myself with my time on my phone. And before you pick up your phone, maybe read those 10 pages. Whatever works for you. I'm not going to get preachy, but I also love to listen to audiobooks while I'm driving or while I'm taking a shower, while I'm cleaning the house, webinars, TEDx talks. Those are on YouTube. There are some great ones. Also, Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, write this down, Simon Sinek, Start with Why. It's a really great TED Talk. There's a Beachbody Champions page. There are units in there full of additional knowledge. There's a files tab in our team page, all the national wake-up calls. There's just calls on calls on calls. There's so much. And the beauty of it is that, again, that's super self-oriented. Sometimes we do book clubs within our team, but let your gut lead. Like, what do you need to work on in your character right now? Is it your confidence? Is it your discipline? Is it the self-talk that you have on repeat in your head, and maybe your judgment mentality, your faith? You want to grow your faith in opportunities, just hardcore business. Like, how do I just get better at being a businesswoman? Whatever it is, millions of things out there for you. Okay, so yes, back to the bread and butter. We need our challenge groups. Yes, this is what keeps things flowing. When we share our What is Coaching calls, we show that income example, how people roll over, people are on Home Direct Shakeology, and that income rolls over into the following months because they keep reordering it. So in your challenge groups, you're having those folks that are consistent and they're using the products. Their results are definitely going to strengthen your credibility as well, your street cred. So I've been able to post my transformation, and then I'll post my friends too and be like, hey, I'm not the only one getting these results. Like, this isn't a solo act here. Like, we're all doing this together. We're all in these challenge groups together. And like I've mentioned before in this group previously, if you have rockstar challengers that are doing well, posting daily, you can groom them into coaches. Reference that call again if you need to brush up on that or if you missed it. And then asking for referrals. So your current challengers are going to be your greatest, can we say referees? Your greatest people who refer you new people because they're already in your group. They already know how it works. They already know the vibe that you've created. And they can just bring more faces to you. That's been a really great way for me to expand my business as well. And I always, dang it. Oh, I can go back. Okay. I always, when I ask for referrals, if somebody brings me a new face, I send them a handwritten card, and sometimes we'll even send them a little gift or something. I'm kind of an impulse shopper, and so I have like a prize closet like you wouldn't believe, and it's got the most random crap in it, but I will send them definitely a handwritten card. That's a big thing that I do. Again, it's your business, you do what you want, but I feel so strongly about handwritten thank yous. And when I send out my prizes, I handwrite like a thank you for adding value to our challenge group. It wouldn't be the same without you. And just let them know that they're a human being, and I really value that they're there with me, because they could have chosen anybody. Follow up. The fortune is so in the follow up. If I had some insert monetary value for every person that I neglected to follow up with, let's say if I had $10 for every person I neglected to follow up with, I would probably have $100 to $200, seriously, because they joined somebody else. It's the basic concept. If you don't ask them, somebody will. And remember, Jolene has taught us that it takes 7 to 10 exposures for somebody to say yes. So if you've already warmed them up and you've already exposed them 7 times and you forget to follow up with them, guess what? Somebody else gets your person. So basically you've primed the pump for somebody else. That sounds kind of crude, but you get what I mean. The fortune really is in the follow-up. Going back to them lets them know that you haven't forgotten about them. It wasn't just a box that you checked off on a piece of paper, that you built that connection, and that you were willing to wait. You weren't that person in direct sales who was like, okay, thanks, next. You didn't want to buy my thing? Okay, bye. You know what I mean? We've all been there, right? Maybe not. I've felt that way before and I didn't like it. Okay, this is so funny for me to be speaking about time management, because this has been an area of growth for me for so long. I want you to notice how I said that. I'm not saying this is something I struggle with currently. I'm not speaking life into that. This has been an area of growth for me. That's also a mindset trick I got for you. Speak it into positive existence, okay? So time management is something that I constantly strive to get better at. And it's something that it's just going to take you getting into your groove. But a lot of it, I'm going to be honest, 80% of it is just you getting over yourself, getting over your excuses. Brian Tracy's book, No Excuses, has really helped me get over that hump. So being consistent every day and making those to-do lists. If you're a person who has squirrel syndrome, you sit down to do your messaging and do your inviting. Something that Stephanie taught me that I find really helpful is I'll sit down first and think of who's been on my mind lately. What did I see in the news feed? Maybe somebody just posted about needing to lose 10 or 20 pounds, and I'll write down names first before I even click into Facebook. So then I go bam, 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 and I get those messages sent out right away. I send my outgoing first. Then I'll come back and answer my older messages. And then as the week progresses, then you can do your invites. So power hour is what we call it. I think over the years it's evolved into power half hour or power pockets. It's just whatever works for you. We want this business to enrich your life and not detract from it. Because once it starts detracting from it, once you start feeling like it's taking away from family or self-care or quiet time or whatever it is, then you start to resent it. Been there too. And then you kind of don't know what you're doing anymore, why you're doing it. So put it into a reasonable spot that fits. And also there have been seasons where I work in pockets and I work a lot on the weekends. So maybe I'll send like 20 to 30 outgoing messages. Please don't choke on your tongue. Like it's not hard. Hey girl, how you doing? How's your weekend going? If you're sending happy birthday messages every day, like I said before, that's a super easy convo starter, whatever it is. But I'll batch those outgoing messages. So then later in the week, I can keep forming, and then I can do like all my invites on a Thursday or something like that. Make sense? So really just make it work for you. Just make sure that it is genuinely a time that works for you and your family, and let your family know, hey, this is why I'm working this business. This is my vision for it. These are the hours that I have. And if you tell your family, listen, I'm going to sit here for 30 minutes, and they know that clock is ticking, that mom's on the computer for 30 minutes, you're probably going to be more apt to actually get in and get shit done instead of scrolling your feed, right? So give yourself some accountability. If you have a success partner, do your power hour together. I find the faster I do it, the less I have time to worry about who I'm inviting or what they're going to say or whatever. And you just feel better because like, bam, I got that done. All right, that was awesome. Okay, cool. Now I can move on. Or now I can keep helping XYZ person throughout the day, because there are some people throughout the day that I will continue to have conversations with if I know that she's like a 7, 8, or 9 out of 10 ready to get started. You know, she's really ready. She's close to being ready. She just has a couple more questions. I will go back and continually do that volleyball with messaging. Otherwise, I've sent my messages and I leave them until the next time I've decided to work. You're not a 24/7 Walmart. You're a boutique business, right? Those people who are like, you know, it almost seems desperate. And this has been a theme that's evolved that I've noticed. Jillian, you can pipe up if you disagree or you have something else to say. But as direct sales and multi-level marketing has become more and more popular and a more common business model, I've noticed that those people that are like, bam, 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 and they're like, they respond to you right away. Or you comment on their thing, and then right away they're in your inbox. And you're like, whoa, Susie, settle down. Like, I don't want your wacky copper socks or whatever it is. Your crazy cleaning cloths. Actually, I do want those, but I digress. It just feels kind of oppressive sometimes that they're always like right away answering you. Yes? Maybe it's just me. Again, different strokes for different folks, but that is something I was taught a long time ago. Not a 24/7 Walmart. We set boundaries. When we start inviting to coaching, we have to think about what we're selling, because we're selling a lifestyle. And if you're a crazy, stressed out entrepreneur who's not getting any results from the business you're trying to invite people to, that sends a message, right? But if you're a person who's like, wow, I love how this fortifies my life. I get paid every Thursday. It doesn't take away any time from my son because I do this while he's at wrestling practice. And this is awesome. This is such an awesome fit for my life. And also I'm down, you know, however many inches, whatever. That sells something too. So we talked about organization. Again, Google Doc, Excel spreadsheet, planner, notebook. I have so many binders. It's almost, it's borderline compulsive, but whatever. So many different colored papers. Hello, Sapphire. And I love the feel of pen to paper. And so I do my trackers like that. But really, whatever works. There's the business activity tracker as displayed here. I've actually typed up and created my own sheets. We have so many different prototypes. So the whole goal with this, you train yourself first, right? You can't lead other people unless you lead yourself first. We know this. Same with our workouts. I mean, we can't lead a challenge group unless we're doing the shit ourselves. So we create systems. And then by leading ourselves, by doing this ourselves first, then our team picks up. And as we build our team and add coaches, we create this I do. So I have done this for you. I have uploaded the files. I have given you all the things. Then we will do this together. We will make your list together. We will invite together. And then you've equipped that person to go on and do it for themselves. It's like the whole concept of you give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. You teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Make sense? There's tons of resources in our team. There's tons of encouragement anywhere you need it. You really need to decide what you want for yourself and your business, and decide if you're going to walk, decide if you're going to jog, decide if you're going to run, and then do it. Success loves speed. Eric Worre says success loves speed. And it's really true. Once you build that momentum, Darren Hardy talks about the compound effect. It's all around, right? We know that once we pick up steam and, we get that train a chugging, things move forward. So I'm not saying you have to be a runner or even a jogger, but just know that momentum builds. And the worst thing you can do, because I've done it, I've been a coach for a long time, and I've been, like I said, on again, off again for a while in years past. And I know firsthand, once you get that momentum and then you lose it, it's just like starting over again. You got to go back and you got to start up all these conversations again, and you got to, get your results back and all that stuff. So just stick with it. Be disciplined. Do yourself a favor and be disciplined enough to keep moving ahead, no matter what that looks like. Even if it's just a little bit each day, even if you only added 5 new people last week, 5 is better than 0. Some progress is always better than no progress. Okay. I want you to write that down and hang that at your workspace. Some progress is always better than no progress. Okay. Jolene, while I'm recording, do you have anything to add?
So I just want to add, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. I just want to add on what you said at the very end of that, the progress. So like you guys, done is better than not at all. Like a little done is better than not at all. Something is better than nothing at all. And I think that I too, having a dominant emerald style personality, that is what I want to overthink and analyze and hold on to all this stuff. And then I want it to be perfect and just the right way. And then a week goes by or 2 weeks go by or a month goes by, and I still haven't done that thing that I really needed or wanted to do. And so it's not done at all. And that serves no one. And so if you're like that, no, like pair up with somebody else and say, okay, this week, and that's what I found at work. So if you're like this, pair up with somebody or even message me and just say, okay, like this is what I really want to get done this week, but I know that I'm going to want to overthink it and want it to be perfect before I execute it. In reality, nobody is going to notice that whatever it is you're thinking at behind the scenes, when they see it, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, so think about what you're working towards this week and know that done is better than nothing at all. So hopefully that little piece helps, because I know for me, that's a huge component, and having accountability of somebody to push you is kind of a big thing there. So
Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll take questions.